You guys, I'm cleaning in the run up to Thanksgiving and to a family visit, and I discovered the craziest thing today I got to share with you. Johnson's, but not normal Johnson's baby oil or Johnson's anything. It is Johnson's Besito Colonia. And I had to stop and look it up. This thing came into our house because my husband bought it. And he said, at post COVID, and his legs were dry. So he put it up on his ankles where he was having some dry skin problems. He started screaming, it burned, it burned, it burned. So I had to stop and look up this Johnson's product I'd never seen because he thought it was baby oil. It's cologne for your baby. Only in Costa Rica, where everybody is so heavily scented, it is ridiculous. So I just had to throw this little crazy bit of crazy out there. He just makes me laugh with that. He bought it some time ago, and he's tried this 2 or 3 times now with putting on his legs. That's why I was kind of laughing about it, because it's like, after I told you it was baby cologne. Hey, Christine. This has been, I don't know, the last 3 or 4 weeks on all social media has just been the world's strangest thing to me. So many people, so incredibly angry about so many different things. And I'm just sitting back going, oh my goodness, why are you angry about this thing? Does it affect you? And then, hey, Megan, yesterday I said I was reacting to being triggered by all the Robert Shin thing that our dear friend was sharing. And the next thing I know, I'm angry emails, things about how when I say I'm mad at Shin, I'm not looking at the 7M dancers. Hey, Sean, I'm not looking at it from the 7M dancers. Let me make this very clear. I have nothing against the 7M dancers. I think it's excellent they're going after the fact that their income has been completely done away with. Their income has been ruined. So it makes sense for me that they would be going after them. It makes sense for me that Robert Shin would be going after it. It's just I don't feel like I don't particularly feel like I have any empathy for Shin. When I discovered what kind of churches that Robert Shin and his church were linked to, I immediately unfollowed anything to do with him because he had befriended me through these various things. I think trying to we should file a complaint with the court. 3 months to make a ruling violates speedy trial provision of the Constitution. Doesn't that speedy trial thing have to do only with criminal court? At least that was my understanding. Because sometimes these civil court actions can draw out for years. I don't know why, but they can. And then it becomes a thing where civil court drags out forever and ever, and whoever is the person with the less money loses. They end up having to settle. And we know who that is in this case. Yeah, I think it's too long too. And Java Man, I think possibly we may see a default ruling in this. I'm going to throw that out. That's my prediction. It's my opinion. Because if the judge had said the other day, default judgment for the plaintiff, don't you think that Katie Joy and her lawyer would have screamed and hollered and carried on more? I mean, just crazy. Is our friend posting about 7M since the court hearing? Christina, I haven't noticed, but I've been staying away from all of her postings because she triggered me so badly when she started talking about Robert Shin's beliefs and healings. And like I said, I'm writing my book right now, and I'm spending a whole lot of time going over some of these crazy things that have to do with our church. Her Twitter is still down. Yep. The person who dies first loses. Yeah, or they run out of money. One of the two. I think that the judge is going to rule in favor of 7M and do a default judgment. And I think that the delay that we're seeing, she has you blocked everywhere. She has me blocked everywhere. Christine, but she doesn't have my husband blocked, so I can go in through his side and take a look. And she didn't have him blocked. She should block anybody with the last name Titkemeyer on social media. I mean, she should really, because there aren't that many of us who are all interrelated, and we're all stand up for each other within reason. It's like I'm not going to stand up for certain members of my husband's family, not my ex. I will stand up for him with my ex, but my husband's family. He has got family in Ohio that holds some pretty bad beliefs about a number of things. One of them is just a few years older than I. We both had strokes about the same time. We both have had um, silent bladder infections. We both ended up in the hospital. The steps she's taken post strokes and everything else have landed her in the nursing home while I'm still out doing my own thing now. I've had some issues post COVID with nerve damage, but I ain't going in. I'm going to keep doing my own thing and trying to keep my mind active with puzzle games, my body active by forcing myself to do everything in the world that I need to do. So yeah, I think that the judge is going to rule. I think the judge is going to look at all this and go, I don't want to deal with this BS. Java man, I wonder if her lawyer told her to get off Twitter for now. I'm sure the lawyer has been saying that since day one, because one of the things I like about 7M is they actually did pull the latest stuff in that she posted just that morning before the hearing. They pulled it up in the courts and added it, and I'm just like, whoa. She shouldn't be talking on social at all about them. She should be pulling the Tati Westbrook. When Tati was Jay, she didn't post on social. She didn't do any kind of videos whatsoever, not even talking about something else. And I don't know if you guys have been watching Emily D. Baker, but I have been watching and just kind of laughing at how Emily doesn't even like to say her name, no more than I do. Because when you say her name, you kind of pull her in. She's one of those people that it's kind of like, I know one of those horror movies where you say the person's name 3 times and they appear. I don't even want to say which one. They're watching her like a hawk. Hey, Bliss, how you doing? Oh, is everybody ready for Thanksgiving? What do you think she'll be eating? One of them that you say the name 3 times, and they appear. Emily is at a place where she doesn't have to cover our friend Christine, and I am so happy for her. Nothing could make me happier than to never have to think about that woman again or speak about her. Yesterday, somebody was telling me that she has an ISBN number for some book she's writing. I looked at it yesterday to see what ISBN numbers, what you have to do to get one. You know what you have to do? Pay for it. That's it. So you can contact the company that hands those out in the US and say, hey, I'm writing a book. It's called My Biggest Nightmare. Give me an ISBN number. Here's my credit card number. And they will go ahead and give you a number. Now, the number of times you're allowed to use it varies because you have to pay for each time you've used it. It blows my mind that our friends are waiting 3,000 subs. Same. My first thought was Candyman. Bliss, I almost said Candyman, but I wasn't sure because I don't watch horror movies. I mean, look at our world. Our world is crazy enough. I don't need to add any kind of craziness in my brain going on. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. yeah, Yellow Porsche. I am waiting to see exactly what the title of the book will be. I've been holding off finishing and publishing my book because I'm afraid that she will plagiarize parts or all of it because she's been known to do that with my story. And as I'm doing my final edit, more things are coming up. I've had to explain more crap. I wrote a chapter the other day about MacGyvering it. KJ and a lot of other people live that victim mentality. Bliss, and that's one of my complaints about evangelical Christianity. A lot of them have the martyr baiting. victim mentality, where everything is a satanic plot to make them look bad, feel bad, do bad, whatever. There's never any taking personal responsibility. There's never saying any of this. Hey, I may suck because I did this thing. I don't know why. Is it so hard to apologize? The power of the Spanish language degree. I want to hear her speak Spanish because what we've heard so far is so incredibly, oh, not good. Muy mal, muy mal. It all is. So I want to hear. Is anybody watching the show 1899? She needs to take some critical thinking classes. Well, that would be useful. I don't think it would go in though, because she believes her opinion is the only right one. And in a lot of her things that she believes that her opinion is the only right one, that she's always right, that the rest of us are always wrong. She believes in her victim mentality, she's closer to Christian fundamentalism than she is to regular, average, everyone. Hey, Grace. Her grasp of some English words seems shaky as well. Now, I'm going to give her a pass on that one. Why? Because I myself stumble over crap all the time. And it's not because I'm not intelligent. Most of the time, it's because I'm swacked out on Lyrica, stupid Lyrica, that they've had to raise my dose again now post COVID because I'm having weird ass phantom nerve pain that caused me to scratch my ankles raw in recovery. My personal favorite is that she can't find that if she can't find someone's birth certificate, then the person must be in the mob. Java Man, her leaps of illogic are legendary, legendary, legendary. So is her excuse the wine? I don't think so. She barely admits that she drinks at all. She says she just has a rare. Bliss, I'm not sure I can watch that because I'm having trouble. The show that Netflix about Lori Vallow, I had trouble watching any of the show they did about the fundamentalist Mormons. And she has only one glass and just gets refilled a lot. Yep, that endless bottomless glass. I should have put up a picture that was taken back before I moved here of myself with the world's biggest wine glass that someone had gifted me. That sucker was like this big where you pour the wine in. Now, I never used it for that because I'm not much of a drinker, even when I can drink. And I can't. I just have too many relatives or alcoholics to ever drink much. She uses the word CULT, which is the academic term for every religion. Well, the thing is, and she started using this one too, which kind of pisses me off because I know she's watching me to pull this up. High demand religious organizations. That's what I call them because I don't think that not every church meets the bite model for the CULT. Not every church does. A lot of them do. And I think it's just simpler to call them high demand religious organizations because many of them are. The kind of demands they place upon you are pretty awful. It's probably the glass that can hold a whole bottle. Christine, I think it is. So I packed it full of fun stuff and passed it on to one of my friends who passed it on to the garage sale in her area. And I had to laugh because the person gave it to me said they bought it at a garage sale. So it's just one of those goofy things. I'm still wondering how she's going to fight with one of her probably former subscribers. CULT, she uses that in pop culture term. Love culture, by the way, but she's way off. She is way off. She is way off. And I know that in academia, they like to use that word a lot for churches. And they may not be wrong, but YouTube doesn't like us using that term. They get onto us, which is why I spell it. Because if I say it too many times in a video, I get instantly demonetized every single time. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes I'm thinking, yeah, I need yarn money. We're going to do this thing. But not every church is a CULT, no matter what she thinks about that. My old church was extremely high demand. And like I said, I'm having to write more and more about some chapters that are just too crazy when I start thinking about the story because my husband said, hey, Example, the other day I had my coffee maker out and it had started spewing coffee and grinds everywhere when it was brewing up. So I was trying to figure out what was going on. I went online, I read the manufacturer's recommendations, I watched a couple of YouTube videos. Manufacturers said that it was doing this because A, it was dirty. B, you'd overfilled it. You filled it to make a full pot of coffee. C, you used fine grinds instead of medium grind coffee. They had a whole laundry list of reasons why it was done, not their fault. I discovered a article by Consumer Reports where they talked about how this varied from coffee maker to coffee maker and how which coffee makers are doing that. So I was in there hammering tongs, popping out the problematic little doodad that prevents the coffee from flowing down into the pot when you're pulling the pot away. Because I finally decided it was that thing. It was just poorly designed because I keep the pots clean. I keep the brewer clean because dirty pots make a nasty taste for your coffee. So I knew I wasn't doing anything wrong, but I'm doing in there. I'm hammering tongs, beating that thing out of there. My husband's like, "I see you're MacGyvering it again, aren't you?" I was like, "Yes, I am MacGyvering it again." And I've talked about that a fair amount in the book. To come here and live here, you have to have the ability to MacGyver and to divot, pivot, and do other things. You can't be doing the same thing every time and expecting the same result because it's Costa Rica. You can't control the Ticos. They're going to do their own thing as slowly as they want. You can't get bent on shape about it. It's all cultural. And there are going to be those times where you're not going to be able to get the thing you want. This coffee pot was actually a decent brand maker, and I hadn't used the Costa Rican brand because you had to replace that yearly because it broke down. In order to truly MacGyver something, you need duct tape. I used that to fix my vacuum cleaner. I did use some duct tape on this because there was a part where it leaked, and I put a piece of duct tape on it to stop that. Spelling things is like how we say things around children. I guess YouTube, in the case of the child, YouTube is the child. So I used duct tape on it. I popped this doodad out. My husband was talking about MacGyvering and how it relates to here and how you have a culture that is not your own. You're going to have to MacGyver. And one of the things I found out about evangelical Christianity that I don't think she knows is that they MacGyver a lot of their scripture and what they believe. They have one strict interpretation of scriptures when the scripture might be something that is an allegory that is open, might be something that is an allegory that is open to all kinds of interpretations. It's just like this, but it's like do as we say, do as we say. This is how we're looking at it. They're MacGyvering their theology all the damn time, and it gets to be old after a while. Rumor has it one Alaska airline. I saw that, Java man. I saw them with video of this guy duct taped to his seat. That is one of the craziest things I've. Oh, passenger plane to hold the aileron on. Okay, no, I didn't see that one. I was thinking you were talking about the Alaskan Airlines flight where they had to duct tape the passenger into the seat, and they duct taped a thing on his mouth to keep him from talking. He was fighting with everybody. He was just being an asshole. So they basically said, "Oh, I know what he was. He was feeling up the women, flight attendants." So they told him to knock it off. He got mouthy. So they duct taped him to the seat until Homeland Security and or the local police came and fetched his ass off the airplane. One thing I've noticed with flying a lot is most people are pretty polite, I think. I know I try to be. I try to be polite enough where I warn my seatmates, I may snore. And if I snore, you have my permission to smack me in the arm, pinch me, whatever to wake me up to make me stop snoring. There's just something about strapping me into an airplane now. I'm just like taking a nap. And most people are quite polite, but not everybody is. I've seen some things almost go wrong on airplanes. I saw one family that started fighting about their little tiny dog they brought on the plane that had not told them they were bringing a little dog across. international borders, which could be a big thing. Maybe that is why KJ never flies anywhere. You want to fight me? Fight me, Luca. I remember that. That might be why she never flies anywhere. Could be she's afraid of flying. I want to say that in the time that I've been watching Kelsey of 7-4 Gear, I've lost all fear of flying between Kelsey demystifying all the noises and weirdness of the plane and just flying a lot. It's just like riding a bus in the sky now. Maybe that is why she never flies. She never leaves to go anywhere. She never goes on vacation. She never takes a day off. What's the over under that she'll be online all day on Thanksgiving? I probably will at least some because I'm trying to gear up for this giant visit that my family's making. And I have been struggling with fatigue since recovering from COVID. So I have a feeling I'll be taking some sit downs. Now, this afternoon, I got to clean all the bedrooms and the living room. But I'm actually way ahead on schedule on what I do before my family comes. So, are you guys having visitors for Thanksgiving or right after Thanksgiving? Because that seems to be a thing. Seems to be the time when your family arrives. I guess she's not welcome at his parents' house on Thanksgiving. Christine, that will be interesting to see if she goes anywhere or says anything about it. We don't have family members here, but we're going to get together with Jim's church family. I'm going to assume they're going to keep the small fuzzy bugs away from me. Tell people not to bring them to a dinner. I could be wrong, but they're having a big dinner on Thanksgiving Day. I'm already signed up to do the thing I usually do. I bring a huge couple platters of deviled eggs, and that's my thing. And nobody signed up for cranberry sauce. And I don't know how you can have how can you have turkey without cranberry sauce? Jay Swiss, Canadian. You're Canadian. Okay, you had your Thanksgiving. Yeah, I know. You know why? Because I go to Canadian Thanksgiving here. One of the restaurants in Flamingo is run by a guy named Bash. He owns it. He's Canadian. He does Canadian American Thanksgiving. So we'll go to his place for American Thanksgiving lunch, and then we'll go on to the church for American Thanksgiving dinner. Don't bring pets to the dinner unless you want them cooked and served. Java man, people bring their dogs everywhere. It amazes me. I'll walk into places like, dog, this is a doctor's office. Fortunately for me, the doctor's office at least honors, they know that I'm very allergic and I'm not the only one. So they told the guy with the dog to take the dog to the parking lot. So that's not a real thing here. Don't bring your dog to the doctor's office. Just don't do it. Costa Rica has an excellent private healthcare system here. Now, I wouldn't give you a plug nickel for their socialized one. It looks like it's just the most bare bones thing on the planet. But everything else, your dog has her own chair. That's awesome. Just I can't be around the fuzzy ones. The fuzzy ones make my asthma go haywire. The short-haired ones, as long as I'm not petting it or laying in the bed with it, I'm fine. And even if I'm doing something like babysitting my daughter's dog, which is huge and short-haired, I just threw in extra asthma drugs and kept on going because the dog wanted to sleep with me while she was out of town. Dog has to have someone to cuddle with. Oh, so that's all that's going on here. As Ernest Jim Harney said, cranberry sauce in the shape of a can. Oh, Java Man. Oh, I like to make my own. And unfortunately, here you can't get fresh cranberries unless you pay like $7 or $8 a bag. And I have seen zero of them this year because I thought about doing that. Just making a huge vat of it and bringing it up there. I ended up spending likewise amount on the canned stuff. And I don't even like the canned stuff. A cranberry chutney recipe. Oh my goodness, you should have to send that to me. That sounds good. I also have a recipe that I thought about making that if I couldn't get cranberry sauce in the can, because you can't always get that here too. But thankfully, Auto Mercado had 3